Raider Nation, stand up. Please stand up. Bye week is over. Hopefully, we'll get into that. Hopefully, there's a game on Sunday. We'll talk about that on the Cover 3 Deep Raiders podcast. Don't forget to listen to the Blackout podcast, the East Coast Nation podcast, the Put on Waivers podcast, and the Fantasy Football podcast as well. Thank you for listening to our show. We have a bunch of different listeners all over the globe, if you will. So let's a couple of cities I want to highlight. Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you for listening. Stock, Newington, England. Thank you for listening. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Los Angeles, California, of course. Yesterday was Snoop's birthday. Holla Snoop. And then we have, let's see here. We got folks in Arizona to listen to as well. So thank you for listening to the Cover 3 Deep Raiders podcast. Myself, Dwayne Douglas, podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Atlantic Ocean. And then, the Pacific Ocean. And then we have my brother, Sean, out there in the Pacific in Hawaii. How you doing out there?
Hey, man, doing great. Bye week, re-energized and anxious to potentially see a headline game this Sunday night.
Hopefully it is a headline game. And I think that this will be the game that kind of shows that, if the Raiders do win this ball game, they are going to be a playoff team. I think if they win this one, especially with the schedule they're playing after this game is going to be,
Cleveland, the combined Chargers,
is,
Denver.
Yeah, the combined record is like 35. 300 winning percentage for those teams. Let's go over and talk about the AFC West real quick. Since we're coming off a bye week. Let's start off with the Chiefs. We beat the Chiefs. They're 5-1. Have an opportunity to sweep the division, which is going to be hard to do because I'm sure KC's ready for that next game when we play them. But start with KC. They bounced back. They ran the ball very well. They get Le'Veon Bell off of quarantine. Also about the Chiefs, Sean, as they kind of get re-energized with Le'Veon Bell added to the roster.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about that is a little bit of reinvention, since we played them. Ken kind of talked about maybe we laid a little bit of a blueprint there, how to spy Mahomes, take away his elusive ability in the pocket to create and make plays. But looks like, their offensive line isn't the greatest, but, to see Reed kind of take a page out of Gruden's playbook and he's pounding the rock and they did that. And now they just picked up another running back to put the ball in the stomach of. Le'Veon Bell is super talented. It just seems like the Chiefs have always had a nice guy in the backfield from as long as I've been watching them. So, Larry Johnson's to Priest Holmes's to Kareem Hunt's to, Hilaire CHE and now Le'Veon Bell and a lot of others in between. But this is a different style. It really is a different style. You win the Super Bowl. You come back, you have a target on your back, and you may have to change a little bit. The league catches on. The Chiefs have a lot of film of what the success they've had in that offense with the Reed. So they look a little different. And, we do the win, obviously, we had at Kansas City looms large right now as far as the division's concerned, especially seeing that the Chiefs are, to be honest, quite sporadic for a team with as much success in the win and loss column. Which to me makes it exciting to face them later on the season and kind of see where we're at then, where we're at offensively, because we haven't had as many problems as them overall.
Yeah, they have. I mean, they have some tough games coming up. They haven't played. They haven't played the Saints yet. They haven't played the Buccaneers yet. So those and who knows? Atlanta is a little bit rejuvenated by getting a new coach, so we'll have to worry about that as well.
Sure.
We haven't played the Falcons yet, but they are. I mean, for me, if they win the division, I can't say fine because it means the Raiders didn't win the division. So I'm not gonna say fine. But the one thing I'll say is that make them work for it this time. I mean, I think this is the job of the Raiders this year. Make them work for it. Take it all the way to Week 17, where the Raiders will be battling the Chiefs for the division title. I think Herbert has kind of, even though they're 1-4 and they've lost 4 straight games, which will probably end this week when they play the Jags. They are a super talented team. We know how talented they are. There's not going to be 2 games that are not going to be easy. Last year they weren't easy for the Raiders. Thoughts about the Chargers? I think that I won't ever take them seriously until Anthony Lynn is not the coach anymore. And it sounds like he's going to continue to be the coach. So,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts about them?
Yeah, I just think to me it's the quarterback. I mean, looking at Tyrod Taylor coming in, looking at a defense that has a load of talent, an offense that has, a star wide receiver in Keenan Allen. They had a running back. They have some health issues there, but with Eckler, they have pieces. Hunter Henry at tight end. They have talent. They really do across the board. Like you said, coaching is one thing. For me, it's a surprise with Herbert. He stepped into a game where Tyrod Taylor had a freak medical, issue before a game, and he was thought he'd just sing the national anthem and sit on the sidelines, and he got thrown in as a starter against Kansas City, and they almost won in overtime. So Herbert to me has been the bright spot. We knew the defense, at least I knew. I think a lot of people, talking heads, would say the defense was going to be the strength of that football team. But to see Herbert just have some, not that he's been like overwhelmingly amazing, but just to see that he's a guy that, hey, it stretches, he can make plays. He'll throw it down the
Hmm.
field, and he has some legs and toughness. So a battling rookie quarterback, if you will, which may kind of help that coach's case, like Anthony Lynn. How can you get rid of him if he has someone that looks like potentially might be their guy at quarterback? So little strange. I'm not overly worried. I just think those games last year playing Rivers twice and the type of turnovers and issues he had. I think this year it's a little bit of a different challenge, but Herbert is what to me is the underlying big change on that roster when we played them 2 times this season.
Yeah, and then listen, they've always had a bunch of injuries on that team
Oh,
every year. I'm
yeah,
not sure what's
every
going
year.
on. And if I was a player on that team, I'm not sure how. I think either you sent me or I sent you the laundry list of the issues that team doctor has had for the
Scary.
Chargers. I'm not. How does that guy still practice medicine? I have absolutely no clue. That's
Hmm.
it's kind of scary to see what's happened there. It's a problem that we don't have to worry about in Raiderville. The Broncos. I'm not a lock guy. I'm not a lock guy. I know some people, I know some folks are a lock guy. But he throws the ball. Listen, he's one of the youngest. He's one of the youngest guys to win a game in. Let's see here. As Ken comes in here, Monster Mash Ken joins us as well. I'm not a big fan of what I've seen because I feel like he's kind of erratic with the football. But they still do play defense in Denver, and they are they just beat the Patriots, so they are a solid team there. So I give them some credit. I still think they're a 6-win team. This is a year where Locke gets that ability to get some experience and then maybe take it to the next level next year.
Yeah, I think I was probably overly positive about Locke, if you will, as a Raider fan, just thinking he showed some good things down the stretch last year. But he's come in and looked like he kind of hit a little bit of a rookie wall in his sophomore year. And with coming back from injury and everything, that complicates things in his game. He's a confident guy in his own right. Just like you said, erratic is a perfect word. And, they're going to give him this year to develop and get him as much reps throwing the football. He doesn't scare me as much as I thought he would. Herbert does, which I never would have thought. um, but uh,
Yes, I agree.
but Denver to me, they're always a tough out. I do agree with you. I'm thinking like a 5-6 win team kind of makes sense overall. They have injuries like everyone else does right now, but right now Denver to me is a team you kind of must sweep. Looking at what I've seen from us so far,
You
unless
gotta
you have an
sweep the Broncos.
extremely off game. The only thing I can think of is we play them the last game of the season, week 17 in Denver. Could be an ugly winter weather, type of game. So, that could play into something talent wise through 5 weeks of what the Raiders have put on film. That we should sweep Denver if we have any chance of a wild card and or fighting for the division with Kansas City. We beat Kansas City, so you can't tell me at Kansas City, you can't tell me we should lose 1 or 2 to
We should be
Denver.
favored in every single one of those games, right? Right, Ken?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry I'm late.
That's all right. That's all right.
Duty call. Yeah, Denver doesn't worry me. I know Herbert is looking pretty good. He's got some balls. I liked Herbert coming out. I liked Herbert at the beginning of his before he came out of college. I thought that it could be a possibility that the Raiders did take him. Um, you know, I'm seeing what I saw in college, and he's doing it in the NFL. San Diego just doesn't make any sense, man. Their record does not make sense to the team that they have. They have a good team, and their defense. We mentioned it before in previous shows. They have a really good defense, man. Good wide receivers, a really good running game, and now it looks like Herbert could be the cornerstone there for the offense. It sucks because I was hoping they would have went with Tyrod Taylor. He didn't scare me too much. I mean, he did beat us with the Bills that one game. But, yeah, Herbert is going to be a problem. Drew Lock, I don't know why everybody was so big on Drew Lock. I didn't think he was that good. I thought that it was more of the defense that was giving him more opportunities to make plays. And they do have some good wide receivers down there in Denver when they're healthy and whatnot. And then Kansas City is going to be Kansas City. I don't know how far you guys went into the zones, but
they're still good.
They're still they're gonna be good for a long time, and but going into Kansas City and making a statement to every single media head out there, that's huge. Not just to the media, to the fans, to the organization, to the NFL. Like, you know what? Raiders are a new team. It's a new era, and we took it to them, and it was huge. I did have a question for you guys that I wanted to ask at the beginning of the show. I'm sorry I missed it. Do you guys think that the Kansas City game that we just won was more of a must-win, or is maybe next Sunday night's game, we don't know what's going to happen here, what is more of a must-win game for us?
I felt like going into the bye, as long as the record was 3-2, I felt like it had to be. That's where it had to be, at the very least. It should have been after watching the Bills and the Patriots play. I mean, if we took care of the football, maybe we. Maybe it should have been 4-1. Should have been 4-1. Maybe if Ruggs could have played a little bit more, we would have been good to go. But that was my whole focus. I was trying to be a realistic Raider fan, not say 5-0, but 3-2 going into the bye. Hope we'll get in. You came in the right time, Ken. We'll talk about the news of the day and what happened during that bye in a second. But that was my goal. I'm not 5-0 like my man Sean here picking the Raiders games this year.
Close,
but I do feel like it was the most important thing for them to do was to be. They couldn't. You got to beat some of these quarterbacks. Like they have a lineage of quarterbacks who have played in the Super Bowl on that schedule, Sean, and they had to beat some of them. And I think they showed that they could do that.
Yeah, I think that's a good question, Ken, because I think this is how it works as a week-to-week league in the NFL. I think until that game, that absolutely was the biggest game to win in this season to make a statement. Now that that's over and done with, and you've had a bye week, guess what? Tampa is now the biggest game. Not only because a few different things, underlying stories of Gruden's tuck rule loss. I mean, Gruden's back in a Raider uniform and he's playing Tom Brady. I mean, how weird is that, right? He went to media for how long? We never thought he'd come back to coach. Now he's facing the guy that gave him the most disastrous loss of his career in his first stint as a Raider. So you have that underlying territory. But Tampa has shown that that they made swinging changes. They brought in Bruce Arians. They got in Tom Brady. They brought Gronk out of retirement. There's some weird storylines there, and they've kind of lived up to it, right? If Tampa was 1-4 right now, it wouldn't be, but they've lived up to it. So they've done things. We're in year 3 of our quote unquote rebuild, so we have to live up to that. So I think when you have another primetime game, right? We took care of the Saints. That was huge. We won at Arrowhead. That was huge. Well, now we're Sunday Night Football in the spotlight once again in Las Vegas. It's back on it, because if you lose this and go to 3-3 and don't put out a good performance, it takes you back down to where are we? What are our realistic expectations here, right? So there's a 43-year-old quarterback. We all understand he's first ballot, one of the best to ever suit it up, but Derek has to fight for his own right for everything, every offseason headline that put the camera in the face of Tom as a potential replacement for him. So I think it's a big game. I think Carr is going to be up for it. I mean, this is it. This has been his revenge tour, and credit to him for showing up. So I think this is something that he marked on his calendar. He may not admit that, but I guarantee you, Derek marked this game on his calendar to play Tom Brady.
Well, don't forget
that
Bruce Arians made some comments when he was in
Good point.
broadcasting too. So that's a good point, Sean, because Derek Carr probably did circle this, and it's not only that he has to beat Tom Brady, but he's also got to beat Bruce Arians for, I know Derek Carr is probably not that kind of guy, where he's like, I'm gonna go out there, but in his mind, probably to himself, it's like a personal thing. But yeah, Dwayne, what were you thinking?
Derek has a journal, and just the fact that he
a diary with the cat.
Diary, Derek's diary. I think he definitely has something like that, because just the fact that if he was one of these oblivious guys who were just like, oh, I don't read anything, he would never have responded to Josh Dubois at all. Like, he would never even respond to him. Obviously, he knows the guys who rip him. Like, he knows those guys.
Yep.
So to me, he's definitely has that in mind. I think when we're gonna talk about the news of the day right now in a second, and then we'll preview this game. I mean, Derek against Todd Bowles has not been good for Todd Bowles. So we'll have to see if the defensive coordinator has made some changes that will help his team do better against Derek Carr and the Raiders. News of the day, obviously, COVID it's every goddamn place. And I think Trent Brown either tested positive or was sent home because of was sent home because of COVID, and now the whole starting offensive line was sent home, and Jonathan Abram was sent home as well. So either one of two things is going to happen. Tomorrow they're going to get tested offensive line, hopefully, and it's only Trent Brown, and then the game is on Sunday. Or we're in a situation where the league is going to have to postpone the game because it's going to be difficult for them not to do it when they did it for the Titans. They did it for the Patriots. They did it for all these other squads. So to force the Raiders to play that kind of offensive line against this defensive line, I think you'd probably have to put Peterman or Mariota out there. You couldn't put Carr out there.
All right. I got to take the first one, Sean. I got to take the first one here.
Please.
All right. This is a
never a dull moment.
It's like we never get a rest here, man. Okay. This is a marquee game. Okay. They're not gonna just cancel it and move it to the end. This is something that's got to happen, whether it's Monday or Tuesday or whatever. They're gonna figure it out. I guarantee it. I do like that fact that you just said that if it is just Trent Brown, then they'll probably just continue with it. That's fine.
Yeah.
So this is what really gets my blood boiling. Okay. And I give Trent Brown a lot of shit online. I'm surprised he hasn't blocked me yet. I don't think he's worth the headache. You're getting paid this much money. You're in the team, the organization, Davis, Mayock, Gruden, Carr, everybody's invested in you to protect our cornerstone quarterback, our main component there. Look at the difference you made at one of the biggest games that we just spoke about in Kansas City. You made a big difference there, dude. Maybe you're not wearing that C on your chest, but you are a captain of this team. You act like a captain. I don't know what he was doing. I might be overreacting here because I'm just heated about it. Like, if Derek Carr came back with COVID, can you imagine the shitstorm that the media would throw at him? Like, it would be insane. It would be insane. Rodney Hudson, captain. He should be all up in Trent. I just don't get it. Like, you play with what you're getting paid for. You're a vet of this team that invested, and you come back and look what you just did. You single-handedly decimated our offensive line. I'm hoping to goodness that we're okay, and it's just something, okay, it's you tested positive or whatever it is, and you can come back. I don't know, but you're invested. Like, people have invested millions and millions. Imagine all these players we could have signed in your stead. It's selfish to me, and I just think it's wrong. I think it upsets me to the bone. Like, I'm reading this when I think one of you guys sent me the picture. I'm like, what the hell is this guy thinking? How could you be so selfish? I'm sorry. I'm literally mad. I don't get mad that easy with the team, but this guy's pissing me off. I don't see him being a Raider next season. I don't. I really don't.
Yeah, I think Dwayne said it best early in the offseason. We were talking about and understanding. I think at that point we didn't know if we'd actually have a season, but if we did, that one of the biggest things that would ring true for success of teams this year would be their discipline off the field, which would be staying at home, ordering takeout food, staying away from gatherings, staying away from temptations of the social life that let's be honest. I mean, they're millionaires. They have a lot of money. People love them. They're celebrities. They have women chasing them. They have people wanting them to come to events, that people want to roll out the red carpet for them. Well, this year would be a test of that. So I don't know. It's hard to say because, the way contact tracing and everything goes, Trent could have been going about everything right, and he just contracted the virus. It can happen. He could have got it last week in the game. They don't wear masks in the game, or 2 weeks ago. It takes, everyone's body reacts different. There's science involved. There's a lot of things. It just hurts because coming from a guy that's already ducked a lot of games the last 2 years because of injury, you kind of look at that reputation and immediately you think potentially he slipped. I hope that's not the case. He's such an important player, but at the same time, we're 3-2. He's played one game this season. One game. Yes, it was a Chiefs.
Great point. That's a great point.
Yes, we won. He grabbed his calf on the second snap against Carolina. We tried to rehab him. He never went on the IR. He came back. He's played one game. We are 3-2. Our 2 losses are against our opponents that actually, ironically, look like the 2 worst teams we played so far in some right. Yeah. But I think the COVID theme, like Dwayne said, is going to carry on throughout the season. I just think Trent, because of a little bit of reputation of things in his past and as a player, not even as a Raider, the cloud is hanging over his head right now. So he's going to be out. If the other offensive line, other people are infected, people like Abram, which I guess potentially had contact close to him, that would be a bad sign because quickly things could rumble. You don't want to fall to Tampa with all the health and injuries we're already seeing. So a COVID year makes it different. Discipline off the field is important. I've been going to work and my kids been going to school and I've been going to grocery stores. I've done a bunch of things and I wear a mask and I haven't contracted it. And I'm not getting millions of dollars and I have a lot on the line for my own family. So I think if you take the right steps and preventative measures, I would hope we wouldn't have been in this situation. So we'll find out.
Wait. You're going to tell me that Dwayne hasn't wrote you a check yet for the podcast? Come on, Dwayne. Send him the check. Just send him the check.
I would say this: is it fair to criticize him for from getting COVID and not criticize Damon Arnett and Maurice Hurst?
Okay, that's a really good point, but they're not getting paid. They're not getting paid the millions and millions. Enough. That's it.
Fair enough.
I mean, unfair. You're right, but like I said, your reputation. Yep. Trent, just he San Francisco. He didn't want to play injured when they medically cleared him. They got rid of him to New England. New England had him. They got great things out of him. New England's a franchise that historically has moved on from very great players. Whether it was they felt they already got paid and checked out, or they already got their ring and they're done, or they already, for whatever reason, and they had one of the best offensive line coaches in the league when they let him go. It's strange that things come back to that, but if you look at the paper chart, they knew something was up, and I guess we inherited it. We paid a big coin for him, which understandably we really needed it at the time. But I think Ken said it right. It's going to grow old no matter how the rest of the season plays out. I can't see a guy that's taking, I think, over 15-20% of our entire cap that isn't available often should be coming back.
Yeah, I would say so too. I think that's we'll see what happens with that whole thing, and we'll have our fingers crossed as the COVID tests come in tomorrow for the rest of the offensive line. Let's just jump into this Bucs game. Let's just go forward as if we're gonna play a game on Sunday Night Football. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth's son, as well. Bucs, Raiders. Really quickly, overview of the Bucs. 22 sacks in 6 games. That's good. 71 pressures. That's also good. If you've watched, I watched all 22 on them. Jamal Neal and Antonio Winfield Jr., absolute beast of a player. The linebackers can run. They can do some special things there. And nobody seems to run the football against them at all. They're averaging 3.3 yards per carry given up. Ken, what are your thoughts about the Raiders going up against the Raider offense going up against this kind of defense?
Well, this is what bothers me the most, because with the Trent Brown situation,
yes,
I mean, these are the 2 games back to back that we need you, man. Like, we need you. We're paying you to protect, that right side, which is very crucial. That being said, I'm not completely worried about Tampa Bay, like as much as I was Kansas City and the Bills. I thought that we would lose against the Bills. I thought the Bills were playing pretty good football even before the season started. So those 2 teams, I thought that we would take losses on right there. But that defense is scary. You saw what they did to one of the best teams in the NFL, the Green Bay Packers. I couldn't believe what I was watching. You know what? Aaron Rodgers looked horrible that game. Very, very. I don't know if he just checked out or what. They have a really good team there. They got a really good running back. They got a really good wide receiver core. The offensive line is okay, but they just couldn't get it together. And you just saw blitzes everywhere. Was it Devin White, who I wish the Raiders would have got, man. That guy was just lighting it up, and he threw a tweet out saying, you guys should have picked me at 4. So I kind of feel like this game is going to come down to, it's going to be a defensive game. Whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win the game. I'm not super worried about it. I really think that the Raiders are going to pull the win out here. I think Carr's really good at, getting the ball out fast, and it would be an added bonus to have Trent Brown in there. But Sean, you said it had a really good point. Where our record is at where we're at without Trent Brown minus 1 game and a snap for the first game. Is Incognito's off the injured list, I believe, so he's back in. So that's a huge lift. And then we're going to see Mo Hurst back it up in the middle, and then we'll see if we get to any of the Irving in there. I'm looking for a big game. If you keep that same game plan that you did against Kansas City, you make Tom Brady uncomfortable. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to run out, in the run out of the pocket. If you can do the same thing, you're going to win the game. Throw the ball downfield. Keep Ruggs, man. Keep Ruggs going. Get that motor going. I think it's going to be a win. Sean, what do you think?
Yeah, I have a hard time. I think I've said it a few times. I think any time we're able to effectively run the ball. Now, peculiarly enough, Josh Jacobs hasn't eclipsed 100 in a game. This year, looking around the league, rushing and running is just not a trend, right? So it's just not working out that way. But I think getting the short yardage kind of plays, keeping Josh Jacobs over 4 yards a carry, getting guys like Booker to come in and get a big gash run, and those things are important. To me, I think what's troubling is Tampa has not shown that they're going to allow that. So, okay, now we're going to have to look to the guys that other times we've installed that make big plays. Waller setting up Ruggs downfield, giving Renfro a cushion. But the way I'm looking at it is Derek Carr versus the blitz, and um, as someone who harps on him often, that's one of his best traits is throwing the ball against the blitz, and it's because his intelligent IQ pre-snap, he's able to diagnose what the defense is doing because he's a game film nerd and he gets in there and he shows up early. He knows where to go with the ball. That's going to be important. The problem is if they take that away, if they're able to disguise and move people and spy people around and figure out where his first read is without a guy like Trent Brown on one end, then I'm worried because when Carr has to go off schedule, huge propensity to fumble, not as willing to use his legs and extend. Things could get bad there. So to me, I think Tampa's defense is what worries me. I like our defense in this matchup a little bit against Tampa because Tom hasn't really he has good weapons, but he hasn't really brought them to light downfield. There's not big strikes, there's not big gashes. It's painfully chucking it underneath and trying to set things up, and a lot of balls going up, going low, getting tips, getting picked. I mean, pick sixes are a problem for Tom this year, and he's 43 years old. So, I mean, I think our defense has a nice matchup. I just think Tampa's defense has a good chance to impact this game. I think this could be potentially a low scoring game. I think this could be 24-20, that kind of game where, you kind of you're going to have to settle for some field goals at times. Uh, Changing the field position is going to be important to keep a shorter field so Derek doesn't have to go 90 yards against this defense. I think that would be a terrible thing. We're going to have to find ways to flip field position in this game and win it ugly. If we win, it'll be ugly. I think this potentially is an overwhelming matchup without Trent Brown.
Yeah, I would say a couple of things here. In the past against I call it the Blitz Bulls defense. Todd Bowles is doing a great job there. Has some really athletic players, but he did, with the Jets as well in the past against Derek, and Derek has done a really good job against Todd Bowles. I think 7 touchdown passes in 2 games, 7 touchdown passes, and no picks as far as that goes. The Raiders have 2 weeks to prepare for an opponent. I think that has to be 100%. You have to play sharp with 2 weeks to prepare for a team. So I'm looking for the Raiders to be sharp in that sense of the thing of this game. Be careful with the short pass because those backers, those cornerbacks they want to take it to the house. They are 100% ready to do that. So you have to have that mix and that balance of challenging them down the field, moving the pocket maybe as well, just so that pass rush isn't just collapsing around Derek all the time, and then running the ball right at him. I mean, listen, if you get 2 yards, that might be enough.
Yep.
During some drives,
Yep.
To crack something up and later on. And you know what? To me, this could be a nice Jalen Richard game. I know that those linebackers want to come downhill. I know Devin White wants to come down here. I know Devontae David want to come downhill. Let me see them, cover those backs out of the backfield. What I'm saying? Get those guys involved with that, and then maybe everything else will open up down the road as far as that goes. This game, especially if Trent Brown doesn't play, this is going to be a Tom Cable special right here. Tom Cable has done a great job since he's been here. He's done a great job this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does and what he has planned for this game because, it's going to be hard with those blitzes. But I know Derek. I love Derek on the pre-snap. He gets rid of the ball quick and he really puts the Raiders in a lot of positions. He gets a lot of – you hear every week the defensive in the TV meetings, the defensive coordinators say the same thing about Derek. Pre-snap, he gets them in the right play all the time. So I'm looking forward to seeing that part of it. Sean, you mentioned our defense against their offense. And I'll let you go first on it because I think, and listen, if they score 50 points against the Raiders this week, then I'll just look stupid. But I think that they have been a little bit overrated offensively as far as this goes. But people see these big scores. A lot of these big scores that they have in these games is because of their defense giving them short fields.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I think they've had the ball a lot on offense. They've had a big chunk of 3-and-out type drives. I mean, this is not, a machine, a well-oiled machine yet. And like I've talked about, or I felt earlier, like Bruce Arians and Tom, you can sense their frustration. They are winning games, but you can see there's something behind that where they thought they'd be operating better at this time. And they're just not. I mean, Mike Evans is, like I talked about before, he's had extremely productive with all kinds of quarterbacks, backups, and people that particularly you wouldn't think, and he still shows up and he gets 7 catches, 126 yards. Well, he's got Tom Brady and he's barely getting the ball, so there's some issues there. So to us, I think that's in our favor. It's just gonna be about stopping the run. For me, for this game, we may get to keys of the game later, but I'm just gonna say I think Kwiatkowski is the player I'm looking at this game. I think him getting back to full health, and I seen him last week, well, 2 weeks ago when we were on the field, really do well in diagnosing where the ball's going in the pass game and the run game. He tackles well, he wraps up. He's the green dot helmet. I think he's going to play a very critical role in this game. Kwiatkowski, to me, is on the defensive side of the ball. If we're going to make the right plays and do the right things, he's going to get us in position, just like Derek does. But he'll show up and make the play. So for me, I think that's what we have to do. I think Tom kind of shows his hand a little bit more this year than he has in the past. And he's still a great quarterback. He still does things well. He's still extremely competitive. And I think the players on that team want to do better for him. But I'm just going to be honest, it hasn't been as what we all thought. We all talked in the offseason like, well, yeah, we love the Raiders, but what team do you want to watch? I want to see what happens in Tampa. Like, I want to see what the fuck is Tom going to do in a new uniform? And it's been mild, I'd say. Like, some highs, some lows, but the defense carries that team. So hopefully, I think the Raiders defense, I'm with you, Dwayne. I think this is a week where, because of the health of the team, because of the bye week and getting these guys more snaps, more rotations, the things they did at safety with mixing Heath and Isaiah Johnson and taking snaps away from Eric Harris looked like a positive as well. So I'm a high on the defense too. I think they'll play a good game this week.
Yeah, I'm looking at, Furl to continue what he did last week. And I think if you make Tom Brady throw across his body, if Furl's coming from that side, Tom Brady's not going to be great. He's not going to move around too much, and it's going to open it up for Crosby on the other side. But Furl's got to have a really good game, and not just stopping the run, because Ronald Jones is doing it. Really, I think he's got like 400-yard rushing games in a row here, and that's what's really going to scare me here. It's got to be stopping the run. So the linebacker play's got to be on point. Kwiatkowski is going to have a big game. I agree. But I think more so Furl is going to have to make disruption just like he did last week and make Tom throw across his body. That's the key there. Tom is still accurate. He's still, there's some disconnect there. I saw that with Evans. Like, why is Evans not having a good game? Gronkowski got going this last game. That kind of scares me a little bit. But it's finding out how to stop the tight ends and this run game. I'm worried about the run game. We have not been good against the run the last several games. Kansas City, we did pretty good actually. I was pretty impressed with that, especially with all this talk of Hilaire being better than Jacobs. Get the F out of here. I don't know what you're smoking there, but Ronald Jones is playing some good football, and Fournette, I think he's going to come back healthy. So that 1-2 punch is going to be a little scary there. But on the flip side, I think Mo Hurst is coming back, as well as what's his face is coming back. So they got to earn the paycheck. Defense has got to step up. I do like that point you made, Sean. This is going to be a defensive matchup for both sides, I think. Maybe a low. It's funny we say low-scoring games, and we're still mentioning 20 points for the Raiders.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right? It's
How
really
it is
crazy.
these days.
Yeah, but I'll take it, man. Give me 2 touchdowns from Derek and a rushing touchdown from Jacobs. I'm good to go. But yeah, I'm going to just go back to what I said earlier. It's going to be the turnover battle, and who gets more possessions here. Keep that same game plan, please. Keep the same game plan, man. It's going to work. It's going to work.
Yeah, we were talking about the Raiders. We're talking about the Raiders' offense against the Raiders' defense against the Bucs' offense. I think this is where the Raiders can really win the game. Heath was 92.5 pro football focused against the Chiefs. So when they made that move, it was a solid move as well. Gronk does not look like old school Gronk. He looks like Gronk after a kegger. Like he's been slow. He's been slower. There's no question about it. So this is a game where I'm expecting these guys to be able to cover him and handle that. Brady's play has been up and down. I'm just going through my notes here. One thing, I like Ronald Jones III. I think he's a solid NFL back, but don't make him into Marcus Allen on Sunday. Don't make him into Barry Sanders. Like let's just you got to be able to keep that yards per carry reasonable. And I think the most dynamic thing that's going on with that Buccaneers team is you have a head coach who wants to go long to short. He wants to throw the ball deep down the field and then look short. But Brady wants to get rid of the ball quickly because he doesn't want that, especially rush up the middle. He doesn't want that at all. So he wants to get rid of the ball quickly and then look short and then go and then look deep. So that's the kind of dynamic that I'm seeing. The issue I'm seeing with them, they are winning games because of their defense right now. And like Sean said, you see a little bit of you can see for 2 offensive egos like Tom Brady, like a Bruce Arians, who is a very boisterous, I'm gonna show you how I was hanging kind of offensive coordinator. He can't do that right now, and he can't flex that muscle because they are struggling a lot on the offensive side of the football.
That's a good point though. As you were saying that, who wins in a foot race, Jason Witten or Rob Gronkowski?
I'm gonna go Gronk, man.
Yeah, I think Gronk with all his elbow and knee pads, they might be falling off like he's Forrest Gump at the finish line. He might beat Witten. I don't know.
I don't know who has
it's funny.
Who has heavier armor, Barry Bonds at the plate or Gronk? Like that thing is what exactly is that thing?
Yeah,
it's on his arm.
He's Ken would know. You're the horror movie buff. He looks like a combination of like a RoboCop and Terminator, built on the outside. Like he might have red eye. If he wore red eye contacts, I might think he's like a bionic man.
You know what's funny? Just go off track here for a second. It's funny that you bring up Terminator. I was at a convention this weekend, and I'm doing my deal, and I look up, and Edward Furlong, the guy from Terminator 2, is staring at me, and he goes, "Oh man, you got some really good shit." And I'm like, "You're Edward Furlong," and he goes, "I'd buy something from you, but I got enough toys of myself." Like, no, you don't. Get out of here. But it was so weird. Edward, he did not age well. This guy looked like a bum. It was cool though. But no, Dwayne, you mentioned something earlier about Jalen Richard getting more involved in this. You look forward to seeing him having a big game. I wanted to mention one thing that I'm not fanboying out here. I am a little bit, but I think Renfro's going to have a really good breakout game this season, this game, because of what we saw with Ruggs and Aguilar. I'm so excited about Aguilar.
Both of them are speedsters. They're killing it right now.
Yes, and you mentioned these young DBs on Tampa Bay. They're hungry. They want to get a pick. Yep. So utilize what you got underneath here. I want to see some Renfro. I want to see our boy Monster Moreau out there, and I want to Waller's going to do what Waller's going to do. But I want to see just these 3 guys. I want to see Renfro, Moreau, and Ingold get some action this game. That's my look on the offensive side there, because if they're going to be blitzing, those guys are always going to be lingering underneath there, and that's why I think Renfro's going to have a big game because he could turn something in. But I do like the Jalen Richard. I didn't even think about that.
Yep.
Really good point,
Good point.
because he's got some speed. He's a playmaker, and he's having a really good. What is this, his fourth season? I think the last 2 seasons has been really good, and I think they need to get him more involved. I'd love to see that. So great point in Jalen Richard. I love Jalen Richard.
And you can't put like, I want to see a little bit more where I see both he and Jacobs on the field at the same time. I mean, you can do some of that stuff as well.
Yeah.
You don't have to have like one go to the bench, one come off, whatever. And also you mentioned Ingold, the golden child. He flat out. I'm staying with that. He is one of the. He has to be the most athletic fullback in football.
Oh,
like he is. He is 100% a great athlete. So let's go to the keys to the game here. As far as that goes around from everybody. What are our thoughts, Sean, out there in beautiful Hawaii about the Raiders in this game on Sunday?
Okay, defensively, like I said, Witowski is going to be key. I think just stuffing the run a little bit. It seems like they're pretty committed there. Ronald Jones has been doing good. Fournette's a battering ram when he needs to be. But I think just slowing that down a little bit and clogging the inside, which will also play into the pass pocket, the platform that Brady wants to stand on. He wants it to be unbothered. I think that's very important on defense. I think on the back end, things will kind of take care of themselves. It's really about just stuffing the run and getting enough pressure on Tom to pull it early, throw some hands in the air, get your tips at the line of scrimmage and whatnot, and be opportunistic. Be opportunistic, knowing a guy like Scotty Miller, who's been his Randall Cobb type slot wide receiver or Edelman or Renfro. But regardless, he's been a little bit of a safety blanket because of the things that aren't working with Mike Evans. Gronk's been pretty quiet. Godwin's been injured on and off and those kind of things. So that's important. On the offensive side of the ball, man, I think all the things you guys have highlighted have been great and have been important. I really think the difference maker is use your difference maker. And it's a combination of speed that has made this offense go at times. We've lulled defenses to sleep and hit them over the top. So guys like Aguilar and guys like Ruggs, especially Ruggs. Ruggs, to me, where's the tunnel screen? Where's the tunnel screen? You got a team that's going to play aggressive at the line of scrimmage. When you got 8 people 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, if you can time that bubble or tunnel screen to Ruggs and seal one block, you're looking at a 60, 70-yard touchdown without having to wait to go down the field. So I think they're going to have to set something up where Ruggs is using misdirection, coming in motion. You got to play those fake reverses, those fake pitch tosses. I feel like Ruggs, you just have to use his versatility. I mean, people are going to look at what we did against Kansas City and see Aguilar and see Ruggs, and they know they got to account for him. And I think those things might potentially open up Jacobs to get some more gash runs, which is what he's been lacking. So if Incognito is back, and let's just say COVID results come back, Trent can't play, but we have Incognito, we have Gabe, we have Rodney Hudson, we have Colton Miller. Okay, on the right side line of scrimmage, we're going to have a combination of Sam Young and Brandon Parker and Jason Witten and Moreau. That's fine, but we really need to get Josh Jacobs going. Screen game. Just regular screen game. Jalen Richard, Ingold, something, just some things to offset, because I don't want Carr turning his back to the defense. I like what he's done in play action, but I don't want him turning his back to the defense and play action if we have, if we're struggling at the right tackle side, because then it's going to turn him. He's going to be turning around with the football in his hand, with the pass rusher in his face, and I don't like that matchup. But for me, get Ruggs, keep stepping on the gas. 4th and 2 plus on the other side of the 50-yard line. Let's go for it. Stay aggressive because it's paid off this year.
Yeah. Oh man, you said a lot there, and I don't disagree with
Sorry.
anything. No. I mean, uh, there's one thing that I want to make clear. We went to Kansas City knowing the obstacle at hand, knowing the expectation here, and I mentioned it. Like you built John Gruden, Mayock built this team to beat Kansas City. They went in there with a mission. They went in there with a game plan. They went in there hungry. Derek Carr had the lasers in his eyes. Uh, they played Super Bowl caliber football. On the other hand, Tampa Bay last week against Green Bay played Super Bowl caliber football. Both these teams played really good football their last games. It's going to be a clash of the Titans. Um, I think that Gruden, with his personality, needs to keep that same mindset he went into with Kansas City. Like, I got to prove again because it wasn't good enough. I got to prove everybody wrong and prove that my team that I've assembled, letting go of Khalil Mack, letting go of Amari Cooper, letting go of Antonio Brown, all this stuff, all these crazy moves that I've made, I got to prove it again on Sunday Night Football. The world is watching. Tom Brady, that ticket, the actual game ticket before COVID hit, that was for the nosebleed seats. I was looking, it's like $1,000. Okay, $1,000 for the very last seat in the very back of the stadium, which is still a good seat. This is prime time. This is what it's about. Okay, Gruden needs to know that. He needs to have that same passion. He whatever he game plan he drew up, whatever, if it's a little different, he needs to make sure that they're going in there to win, not to play conservative football, not to do dink and dunk passes, nothing like that. Okay, that's one. Two, I like what you said about setting something up for Ruggs underneath, kind of like what they do with Waller, because Waller gets these, he get the crack one block and he goes. If they can do that with Ruggs, that's a touchdown. Waller's not as fast. He's fast. He's very fast, but he's not as fast as Ruggs, man. If they can do that, that's going to work. So let's get Ruggs more. He's your first pick. There's a lot of controversy there. Why didn't you go with any of these other three wide receivers? You look what Chase Claypool's doing. You got to make the Ruggs pick make sense. It's continue where you left off. He only had 2 or 3 catches that game, but still, he's playing awesome. So get Ruggs involved. Because if you get Ruggs involved, everything else opens up underneath and the run game. I want to see Josh Jacobs, man. Dwayne, you mentioned it. Run it right down their freaking throats. Just keep doing it. Wear them down. Get Ingold involved. Let him do some runs. I want to see that. I want to see Booker get involved. The run game needs to be on point. I want to see at least 150 yards between those backs. And Derek just needs to keep playing MVP football, which he's been doing. I know there's a lot of talk about Carr. I'm sorry. I meant to say Carr. I think I said Ruggs. Carr needs to keep playing MVP football here.
Right.
He protects the ball. His completion percentage is awesome. His one interception, which I'm okay with that. He threw that one interception. I'm not going to knock him on that. He's playing really good football. If Carr plays well, this offense moves. Everything will fall into place. Let's just keep doing it. The defense, you got a lot of growing up to do. You grew up last week. Just keep it going. There's so many issues with the defense. You can't kind of pinpoint one thing. We mentioned Furl. We mentioned the push up the middle. The cornerbacks got to play. There's so many different things here. The linebackers, everybody has to keep going. Gunther is still on the hot seat, in my opinion. But the offense is going to click. Gruden, please, please, please just make it happen just like you did Kansas City. And then after that, man, then you can do this whatever you want to do because these other teams aren't shit, and we're gonna blow right through.
Yeah, I would say, everybody is a tough guy, so you punch them in the mouth, right? So this defense is they got Ndamukong Suh, they got Pierre-Paul, they got linebackers, they got all these guys. As soon as you hit him with a 60-yard play, then they say, "Oh wow, okay. Now the game, we're in a game now. We're not playing some from 90s Raider team that can't do anything. These boys can actually play. So being able to strike with a big play early in that game, that'll definitely be helpful. The Raiders secondary, I always start the show with the Raiders stand up, Raider Nation stand up. They gotta stand up in this game because I really feel like this is the time where I need to see multiple turnovers in a game for the Raiders. They got to end up in that plus territory offensively. I mean, obviously, Derek always spreads the ball around. Get the backs involved a little bit because I really think that's another avenue to get Jacobs involved, to get Rashard involved, and get the Golden Child involved as well. And for Gruden just to stay aggressive, Waller, all those guys, stay aggressive with the football. Do not become conservative, and don't make anybody into a star. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, Ronald Jones is a solid player. Just don't get. I don't want to see the Jamal Charles game again. I don't want to see any of these other ridiculous games. Like, don't make him to a star. Really, I think really getting up on that run and force Tom, who has been erratic, to make some really, really tight throws. I'm not talking about the wide open throws, the Stuart Swigert days. I'm talking about the real tough, small windows where Jeff Heath might be able to come in there and sneak a pick as far as that goes. I did want to mention rest in peace to Mario Henderson, who passed away today.
Oh, yeah.
Former Raider offensive line, former Raider offensive lineman who was with the Raiders for a while, passed away, and I guess that's unknown to what happened. So our heart goes out to his family. But listen, Cover 3 Deep Raider podcast on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere, YouTube. Check out our YouTube as well. All that good stuff right there. Guys, you have anything to say in passing?
No, for me, no, not much. Mario Henderson, yeah, big ups there. The name crossed my mind, and then I looked at his date, and he was born the same year as me. So he's the same age as me, 36 years old. So I looked at that, and life's quick, especially during these turbulent times. So stay safe, chin up, enjoy your life. And, I know Raiders football is what holds us all down a lot, but enjoy your family, your friends, your loved ones, and suck the life out of every day, because you really never know.
Yeah, no question about it.
Yeah. It's a good thing you said that. I agree. A really good friend of mine lost her brother in a freak accident. A young kid, 23 years old, freak accident. You never know. I called my family right away and just, hey, my friends, everybody, just call and say hello to everybody, those people that maybe you haven't spoken to in a while. And, there's the good friends are the ones you can just call and pick up where you're going. I'm blessed to talk to you guys every day, and we're becoming better and better friends. Yeah. And same thing with my boys on the ECN podcast. We're like brothers and whatnot. I do want to say one thing. I'm going to get a little controversial here, and you guys are going to like this. I wore my Las Vegas Raiders shirt for a reason on the show. Normally I wear a jersey. You guys know that. But I wore this shirt for a reason. I'm invested in this team, the Las Vegas Raiders. Oakland, I love the Oakland Raiders. I love the LA Raiders. I love the Oakland Raiders before the LA Raiders. Okay, I didn't get to watch it too much. I grew up an LA Raider fan. Okay, they went to Oakland. I was still a fan. People are online saying, oh, I can't bring myself to buy a Las Vegas Raiders gear yet. Get out of here. It's the same team. Who cares? It's a new chapter. You're going to do it sooner or later. Don't make a big deal about it. Support the team. It's the Las Vegas Raiders. They're not going to go back to Oakland. It's done. That's it. Why would they leave? Whether it's 20, 30 years from now, that stadium's awesome. It's done. Support the Las Vegas Raiders. That's what they are. You're going to be watching them, hopefully in the playoffs. And that's it. Buy the gear. I bought you guys saw that. Had to buy the Ruggs jersey. I paid the 2-day shipping on that. I will be wearing that Sunday night. Yeah, and I always, every year I buy the Support the Troops gear. So I have, for the last 6 or 7 years, I bought the cap, and it's a really fresh cap. So buy that stuff, you guys. Support the team, Las Vegas Raiders, because that's what it's all about, and they're winning. It's a new chapter. It's a new day, and we're winning. And we
I mean, you can't tell me whether you're Los Angeles, whether you're Oakland, whether you're Vegas, that last Sunday when that final, whistle went, you weren't proud to be a Raider fan. Yeah. So let's just keep
Raider Nation, right?
And it's Raider Nation. Yeah. It's Raider Nation. The biggest sense of pride that I think we all have is that you can go across the globe
Yep.
and see silver and black, and there's a different type of recognition that we have as a fan base. So I understand the animosity and the shit that's involved there, and some of it, for some people it's more than others. But regardless, I think people have to understand what we need to be proud of. We took a long time. We played in a stadium that we shared with USC football. We played in a stadium that had infield dirt on it in September and October. We played
with the A's.
Guess what, guys? We have a world class stadium, like in the world. Like there's going to be concerts there and huge events and things that aren't even football related in that place because of the type of facility it is. So, and because of the type of town it's in an entertainment town. And guess what? Silver and Black has always been about entertainment, and whether positive or negative. So Sin City and all that, it's different. But good point, Ken, to bring that up, because I'm called a satellite fan because I don't know. I grew up in Orange County and they were in LA, and I like the Raiders, and they moved to Oakland. I like the Raiders, and then I moved to Hawaii. It's like, oh, well, you're not a season ticket holder. Well, what the fuck? This is my team, man. What do you want me to do? So I think there's a little bit too much of that, but that's social media. But
so let me just reel off some. So let me reel off some of the states where people listen to our show.
I was going to bring that up. Good.
Yeah. Florida, Virginia, Nebraska, Maryland, Illinois, Kansas, Virginia Beach, Ohio, Long Beach. Shout out to Snoop Dogg. Minnesota. Let's see, Texas, Montana. Raider Nation's in Montana. Springfield, Missouri, Oklahoma, Utah. Like this is like, I mean, Chesapeake, Virginia, Arizona. Let's see here. We'll get a couple more. Ontario, Guilford, Connecticut. I mean, come on. Like it's truly a Raider Nation. I'm done with all the fighting. I'm sick of it. It's all good. We're all family.
Sean brought a good point up, though. We know I didn't grow up in Oakland. I know that it's a different vibe there, and I'd be really sad too if my team left. I can just go to the game because I live there. I get that. I totally get that, but doesn't mean I'm not going to stop cheering for my team. And it's a deep conversation. If you guys want to hit us up, text us. Let's talk about it. We're here, but support the team. It's the Las Vegas Raiders, and that's what it's going to be. And I think within the 3 years here, whether it's this year, next year, or the year after, this team's going to bring home a championship. I feel it.
Hopefully, dude. We have to run. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Cover 3 Deep. And don't forget to listen to the Blackout Podcast, the East Coast Nation Podcast, the Put on Waivers Podcast, and the Put on Fantasy Football Podcast. Gentlemen, you have a wonderful night.
Jackpot Raiders.
Peace.
I'm not down with that jackpot.
I'm not either, man.
We'll talk about it later. Brent Musburger. Oh, my goodness.
Take care, guys. Raider Nation.
Take care. Yeah.